And I know you got to go, but it's been in the news recently, so I have to ask, UFOs, have you seen anything weird over all these years flying and then in space? And what are your thoughts on the whistleblower? I know we don't have much time, but what are your...
I'm very evidence based, and I've been a pilot my entire life and spent many thousands of hours. I've lived in space. I've worked with all of the astronauts from all around the world. My dad is an airline pilot who has spent 30,000 hours at altitude. Both my brothers are airline pilots. In my family, what do we have? Almost 100,000 hours of flight time. And nobody that they know has ever seen a UFO. So when I hear of one whistleblower, or I see a little bit of glinting on some HUD tape that most of the people don't know how to interpret it, I'm just naturally suspicious. It's like, okay, well, what's a whistleblower? Anybody can blow a whistle. What are your actual credentials? And I'm convinced there's extraterrestrial life. I mean, you'd be a fool not to. There are an unlimited number of planets. There are septillions of planets out there. And so to think we're the only one that generated life, that's just kind of arrogance. But it's also arrogance to think that intelligent life is traveling through the entire galaxy and then just sneaking around where only clever people manage to detect them. To me, that doesn't make any sense. So yeah, it's fun. It doesn't do any harm. I don't mind people thinking about UFOs or UAPs or whatever you want to call them. I'm sure there's life in other places in the universe, but I'm more than a grain of salt with which I take all the latest breathless announcements. And you got to look at it from the U.S. government's point of view. Hey, it's fun. It does no harm. It allows us to fly secret airplanes around and pretend they are UFOs, and nobody has to worry about it. So what's the harm in it? And I'm not worried about it at all, but neither am I invested in it at all.
Got it. All right, I got to let you go. But Aquarius Underwater Laboratory, where did this come in?
Yeah, if you want to train to live on a space station, it's really good to live in a hazardous, unescapable environment with your crew for a while, because it builds the right mindset and sense of irreversible responsibility. And so there's a habitat on the bottom of the ocean off the coast of Florida, and NASA trains crews there. It's called Aquarius. And so I commanded a crew for 2 weeks living at the bottom of the ocean. And it was great, a fascinating, beautiful place to be, but also a really good place to, as an analog, as a place to build the skill sets that you need. So then when you're up on a space station and you can't come back suddenly and you need all those interpersonal skills as well as the technical skills, it's a great proving ground. And we use it and other simulators regularly to get our crews ready to go live on the space station and soon to go live on the moon.